Hi everyone, welcome back to another close reading video. I'm Adam Walker, and today we are reading Shakespeare Sonnet 60, which picks up on some of the themes that we've seen come up in the previous sonnets, and we'll see how this sonnet takes imagery from some of the previous ones we've looked at before, and also continues this idea of poetry as granting immortality to its subject. So let's turn to Sonnet 60 by William Shakespeare. Like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. Each changing place with that which goes before, in sequent toil all forwards do contend. Nativity, once in the main of light, crawls to maturity, wherewith, being crowned, crooked eclipses 'gainst his glory fight, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. And yet to times in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand. Now you notice immediately in this sonnet that the whole thing is carried through with this solemn pacing of meter. We have, here's one way to scan it, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, or you can do it as perfect iambic pentameter if you go like as, so unstressed stress, like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore. I like to read it with the emphasis on like, beginning there with the trochee, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore. It establishes a kind of rhythm. Who knows if that's the way it really was. It was either perfect iambic pentameter or it began with that trochee there. But notice these long vowels carry it along, these monosyllabic words having one syllable, like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore. And then we have the short vowels here, kind of tumbling at the end, as though the pacing, like as a wave when it's racing towards the shore, and then it breaks on the pebbles. That's almost enacted here in the short syllables, pebbled shore. It trips off the tongue, especially after that stately sequence of long vowels. So like the waves make to the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. In many of Shakespeare's meditative sonnets, this is certainly a meditative sonnet, in many of the meditative sonnets, the application comes towards the volta, but here we have it right here in the second line, just an interesting feature. The waves are analogous to our minutes, which hasten to their end. Each changing place with that which goes before, in sequent toil all forwards do contend. Each minute changes place with the next, and sequent just means consecutive, one after the other. Toil or strife, all forwards do contend, or fight, or struggle. Nativity, you usually hear this word around Christmas time. Nativity means the birth. Nativity, once in the main of light, crawls to maturity. Since birth, you're crawling towards maturity, where when you reach it, you are crowned. Could be talking about gray hair here as a kind of crown of glory, which is then eclipsed. Crooked eclipses. Here that metaphor of the eclipse again, this time playing with the metaphor of light here established in the second quatrain, calling back here. So we're out of the imagery of the seashore and now in the imagery of the heavens, really. The main of light contending with crooked eclipses, which against his glory fight. And time that gave doth now his gift confound, or take back, or destroy. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow. Some beautiful assonance here, the repetition of vowel sounds, also alliteration, linking some imagery here. Transfix. It's not really clear what this means. Transfix could mean stabbing, or like how you would transfix a beetle or a butterfly. I think here just means killed. Time takes away or kills, stabs the flourish or the beauty or ornament that is set on youth, and time delves the parallels in beauty's brow. What does that mean? He's actually hearkening back to something we've seen before in Sonnet 2, where he talks about when 40 winters shall besiege thy brow and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field. He's talking about the lines on the forehead, the parallel lines that come with age on your brow. Time feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. So now we're actually hearkening back to another sonnet that we did in this playlist, Sonnet 12, in which he says, nothing 'gainst time's scythe can make defense, save breed to brave him when he takes thee hence. So in Sonnet 12, the narrator, the speaker, was addressing a young man and saying that the only way to live on is to procreate and have children. Here there's actually another way to move on, to live on. Nothing stands but for time's scythe to mow, and yet to time's in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his time's cruel hand. And yet to time's in hope my verse shall stand. And yet, the logic of that is saying nothing stands, but time will mow it down. But his verse actually will stand. And this verse praises thy worth despite time's cruel hand. So again, we saw in Sonnet 55, in Sonnet 15, and various other sonnets where this idea of poetry granting immortality to its subject. And here it is again. It's just an artful and beautiful and sonorous sonnet just to listen to and to chant. Has some beautiful lyrical qualities with it as well. So I hope this helped to give you a better acquaintance with the meaning behind the sonnet, as well as some of the lyrical qualities of it. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time.